SIVA. You can also just call it SIVA. The F is silent. It is my pet peeve to say SAFIVA, so please don't. It's just SIVA, so it's a lot easier, obviously, to refer to us as that. So I'll just give you the general overview of our organization, the programs that we run, and then talk a little bit more specifically about the issues that we're thinking about. I very much appreciate you guys taking us into consideration. Nonprofits are challenged in terms of manpower and finance and all the things that you know, so it's great to have a bunch of you thinking about these issues for us and helping us sort of think a little in the nonprofit world, and I appreciate that. So essentially the Center for Emerging Visual Artists is almost 30 years old. We'll be celebrating our 30th anniversary next year, and we are an organization that's dedicated to promoting emerging visual artists and helping them build sustainable careers in the arts. We believe that a sustainable career in the arts is able to support through art and artists. And because we believe in that, that's sort of how all of our programs help serve artists to increase their careers, to build their careers, but also so the public can have access to quality artwork and quality artists. So it's a two-part process. So essentially, we have three main programs that we use to serve artists in the community in this way. I'll talk about the one that I do last, because I'll talk a little bit more about that one. But one of our programs is called the Regional Community Arts Program, or RCAP. I will not refer to it as that. But in the nonprofit world, everything's an acronym, which is part of the visibility problem. Everyone talks in acronyms, no one knows what you're talking about, right? So essentially, the Regional Community Arts Program is our program that brings artists and artwork into the community setting. So artists show their work in the community, meaning hospitals, schools, community centers, elder care facilities, etc. Places that are not specifically art venues, but places that the public is. And for example, we've shown in the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. We have a show currently at the Perlman Center at HUP. And these vary all over the city. And these are often partnered or sort of paired with programs where artists teach art to students in a sort of a workshop setting. And then artwork can be exhibited. So the shows that are in CHOP or HUP or places like that, those are professional artists exhibiting their work in community settings. But we also have fellowship programs where we have artists going into elder care facilities, working with elders and young people, meaning college-age students, high school and college, but mostly college, to work on artwork together. So the artist, the professional artist, teaches the elders and the young people working together. At the end of the program, which is maybe, I think, 10 weeks, they have an exhibition of the artist's professional work next to the work created in the workshop by the elders and the young artists. So this is a really fantastic program. This is a really feel-good program and does a lot to give back to the community, but it also pays artists to teach art. All of our opportunities for artists that are teaching are paid. We don't have artists volunteer their time for nothing. Part of building careers in the arts is paying artists for the work that they do. So that's one of those examples. We also have artists teaching in shelters. That's called our hand-in-hand program. And we've been doing that for decades. So artists go into shelters, teach kids who have kids and possibly their parents while they happen to be in the shelter. So that's a different kind of moving community. It's not always the same kids every class. But again, community setting. So we have a lot of different programs in the community that are both for the artist's career, but also giving back to the community. So that's what that program's about. We also run Philadelphia Open Studio Tours, or POST. We've been trying to get away from calling it POST, again, for the acronym issue. But you'll see this is the logo for that program. It has its own logo. POST, or Philadelphia Open Studio Tours, is basically a citywide festival where artists open their studios to the public for 2 weekends every October. So the artist pays a fee to be involved, to register for open studios. They get printed in this guide and put on a map, and they're listed on maps This year the guide's going to be full color. It was black and white before. But it's basically advertising for the artists involved, the organizations involved. Artists are mapped, their studio, all their contact information is there. We also have a whole website that features all of this information as well online, and each artist has several images of their work there. So we print about, 15,000 guides that are distributed around the city, probably about 30,000 postcards, maybe more. The website then hosts the event hosts about 300 artists each year. We do bus shelters, we do banners, we do advertising, lots of sort of, as you can see, collateral and promotion of that. So that program, there's no application process. It's totally democratic. Any artist who has a studio in Philadelphia can participate. So essentially they pay the fee to be in the guide and on the website and to be featured. And then they open their studios to the public for 2 days, one weekend. We do one weekend is east of Broad, all the studios east of Broad Street, and the other weekend is all the studios west of Broad Street. And essentially it's free to the public, and the artist opens their studios and anyone can come in the studio and check out what they're doing and talk to the artist. It's a really great event. It's really great. It's free, and it's all ages. Anybody can come. Artists have a great time talking to people about their work. Sometimes they sell work. Often they sell work. Sometimes they make connections with curators or other interested art people. And sometimes they just get to know people in their neighborhood really well. Because a lot of times what people will do is just go around in their own neighborhood. Like, wow, I totally didn't know these artist studios were in my neighborhood. Or they might go through the guide of the website and say, I'm really interested in photography. And look at all the photographers in there and then choose the ones they want to go visit. So you can do it any way you want. And you can decide how you might want to do that for each of the 2 weekends. So that's a really exciting program. That's been with us for, I think, 10 years that we've had this. It started with another group and they brought it and we sort of absorbed this program. And it has become a very visible program for us. When we talk about visibility, and I'll talk about these issues a little bit more later, but we put there's a lot of collateral, a lot of promotion, a lot of advertising. It's all over the city. It's in every city and every neighborhood rather in Philadelphia. So this program now has a lot of visibility, so that's just something to keep in mind when we're talking about the visibility issue for the organization as a whole. Because as I said, the program I was telling you about, the community program, that's been going on for decades. And then I'll talk about our sort of flagship program, or our founding program, which is the Career Development Program, which is what I run. And what that is that's a fellowship program for emerging visual artists. And emerging essentially means up and coming.